Good evening. Oh, I'm a little close. Oh, look. Look at my face. There we go. That's better. Get us a little music tonight. Good evening. Happy Wednesday, week 3. Give you guys a few minutes to get in. We won't be before you long tonight. We're going to hit it and quit it. We're going to do a bit of a review. Um, Good evening. I'm good. Trying to stay dry is all. We've been having a lot of rain. Good evening. I'm trying to get my playlist set up while we wait for others to join. But yeah, like I was saying, we won't be on here long. We're gonna do a bit of review um from last week. If you notice on here, I did change up the syllabus a little bit, but I did let you guys know that it is subject to change because I wanted to focus on marketing from our assignment from last week. A lot of you turned it in. You should have received, if you turned it in on time, you should have received your feedback by now. And I'm going to go over that. A lot of you noticed that it was not as easy as it sounds. It's not as easy as it sounds. And it takes, let me go back, and it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of thought. It's not something that you can just sit down and do. So yes, it does take a lot of work. It does take a lot of thought. And now I'll walk you guys through it. I received one that was absolutely perfect. And I asked her if I could use hers as an example because I want you guys to get what I mean. She went step by step and she listened to what I said basically, and she wrote down the questions. Let me make this a little bit lower because I feel like I'm looking up the talk. She answered the questions. Hey, the ministry. She answered the questions that I told you guys to answer. She went step by step in doing so. So in a nutshell, I'm going to break down to you who her target customer is. She's an African American or Hispanic woman between the ages of 20 and 40. She makes $50,000 a year. She's a social butterfly. She enjoys reading and wine tasting, and she loves a good wine down. That's your target customer. What is this information going to help her do, right? She's an African American or Hispanic female. More than likely, she looks like this person, right? So you're going to get somebody who looks like or who can relate to this. Oh, the last one I forgot. She grew up in the hood, but she moved to the suburbs. Me. That relates to me. So that's what I mean by you guys have to grasp the concept of who you're trying to sell to. When you notice who you have to know who you're trying to sell to in order to sell it. You can't say, well, yeah, this is something that anybody can use. Anybody can use a microwave, right? But I may prefer to use an oven. So if you're trying to market a microwave to me, I don't like microwaves. I prefer an oven. So you trying to market that to me, I'm not going to buy it from you. That's just like if I don't eat beef and you offer me a steak, you wasting your time. I don't eat beef. Why would you offer me a steak, right? So the perfect breakdown for her, to me, this sounds like an around the way girl. Girl who grew up in the 90s, who had a little bit of a struggle, or who didn't like the place that she was lived. So she went, got herself together, put herself in a better position. Now she's living maybe in a high-rise apartment somewhere downtown in the big city, maybe Houston or Atlanta, right? She has a fireplace. This is what I'm visualizing this person looks like or does because of the description that she gives me. What does this does for you as somebody marketing to her? I can see a social media ad or even some content to where a woman is getting home from lunch, from work. She just took a nice bubble bath. She's lighting some candles. She sits down in her living room, lights her fireplace. She pours her a glass of wine. She sits on her sofa and she reads a book. She starts to read a book. That's your commercial. This is going to entice this person. That's going to entice this person because that's what they do. You have to know who you are marketing to in order for you to be able to market your book. Some of you said, well, this is a book that anybody can read. That can very well be so, but you have to have somebody in mind that you're selling to before you can actually sell it. All right. So I'm going to give you guys a few key points. I might go kind of fast, right? Because like I said, I don't want to give you too much information because I want you to really get it. I'm going to give you some technical terms, but I'm going to try to break it down as simple as I can as well so that you can get what we're doing. Because again, you can't sell me a steak if I don't eat beef, right? You can't sell me a microwave if I prefer to use a conventional oven, right? So that's what I want you guys to understand. So let's break down the definition of marketing. Marketing is the process of selling your product or service. That's it. It's the process that you're going to use to get your product out there to get people to buy it. You have to sell it, right? You have to have a strategy to sell your product. You can't have a strategy if you don't know who you're selling to. You can't have a strategy if you don't know who your customer is, right? The second component of marketing is advertising. Right? So you come up with your marketing strategy. You know who you're selling to. Now you have to decide how you're going to advertise. The advertisement is basically the entire marketing process. It's the customer, the research, the planning, the pricing, public relations strategy, all of that together is advertising. Your budgeting, all of that is in your advertising. We live in a day and age now to where the easiest way to advertise is social media. It's still the easiest way. It's the most efficient way, and it can be the most effective way if you do it correctly. If you know who you're selling to, so you'll know what to sell them, right? So again, the advertising is the whole marketing concept. Picture a Coke ad, right? I don't drink Coke. One thing about a Coke ad, they are going to make you want, even if you don't drink Coke, they're gonna make you want a Coke. Why? Because of the way that they present it to you. Most of their commercials are centered around lifestyles. First of all, the canned Coke, once you flip open that cap, it's ASMR. It just sounds so refreshing. If you ever drink a Coke, you know you need some water after you drink that Coke because you're gonna be thirsty. It does not quench your thirst. But once they flip that cap on that can and it makes that sound, oh my God. Then they pour it over the ice. More ASMR, right? It looks so refreshing. But again, if you ever had one, you know that you're gonna need some water. Why? Because it's so much sodium in it. It's so much caffeine in it. They're not gonna tell you that on a commercial. But they're going to make it enticing. They're going to make it look good to you so that you're going to want it. Then they're going to have somebody sitting in the park on a hot summer day drinking a Coke. You will pass out in real life if you sit in the park on a hot summer day drinking a Coke. But they entice you. They pull you in. Who don't want something refreshing to drink on a hot summer day? Even though in real life, those of us who have experienced it, that will not be your go-to drink on a hot summer's day, right? Because it makes you thirstier than you were before. You want something you want some water or some Gatorade with something with some electrolytes in it, right? That's going to replenish what you've lost. But on that Coke commercial, they're going to make it seem so refreshing. They're going to make it seem like something you want so bad to where you might even go out and try it, even though you know, I done had this before and it didn't do that, but let me try it again because it looks so good. That's what your advertising and your marketing should look like when you present it to your customers. So the next note I want you guys to write down is a good marketing strategy identifies the market segment, again, who you talking to, and it tailors the product specifically to that customer. Again, on the Coke commercial, anybody sitting in the park on a hot summer day that's thirsty. Most people sitting in the park on a hot summer day is a young couple. It could be an elderly person walking through the park, just getting they steps in for the day. You see what I'm saying? They have a target. They sit down and they strategize and they come up with a marketing plan before they put it out there to you. And then another thing that they do is they test it. When you are marketing, you're going to have to test what works. You don't know what works until you find what works. It's trial and error. You're gonna have to do some testing. You're gonna have to just throw some stuff out there and see what bites. See what bites. This is not something that you can do overnight. It's going to take some research. Y'all didn't think all this went into writing a book, but it does, because who you gonna sell it to? If you don't know who you're gonna sell it to, it's just gonna be sitting up on your shelf. This is stuff that you need to know before you put your book out there. Even like I told y'all before, when I sold my first book, I didn't do all this per se, but I did have a bit of a following because of things that I had already been working on, because things that I did in the community, because of the following that I had built on Facebook at the time, because that was the only social media platform that I was using. What else? People that knew me in the neighborhood, people that knew my mama. Your mama gonna tell everybody, right, about what her baby doing. So my mama friends, word of mouth. That was how I built my audience. But then when I moved to other arenas, I had to learn the different strategies that work, because not everything that works on Facebook is gonna work on Instagram. Not everything that works on Instagram is gonna work on TikTok, and vice versa. You're gonna have to learn what works on these different platforms to put your stuff out there. Again, we go back to, you have to know who you're talking to first, because you have to grasp their attention. So the 4 P's of marketing. The first one is, of course, the product, right? What are you selling? In this case, we're selling books. How will this book that you're selling fit into your customer's lifestyle? How will this book that you're selling fit into your customer's lifestyle? Again, going back to her analysis, this person simply likes to read books. To me, she likes urban fiction because she's from the hood. She knows the area. She moved out. She came back. She making a little money now. So when she get off work, she want to come home and unwind, right? So how will this book relate to the customer's or the reader's lifestyle? The next thing you need to decide is how you gonna promote it. What is your advertising, your marketing strategy? Are you gonna have sales? Are you gonna have promotions? Again, social media, that's what we're gonna use because it's free and it's available right now. Do you have a budget? Are you gonna need a budget? What if you decide to put something like out on the radio station? That's fine. The last book that I did was 2023, 2023, and I decided to do something different because times change, and I really just wanted to throw something out there. With that book, I did a I did a visual ad, which basically I hired a team, a company, to act out the introduction of the book. And it did well. It did so well. It did so well that people thought it was an actual movie, and they were asking me when the release date was for the movie. So for me, one thing that I learned was, in a sense, we kind of overdid it, right? Because ma'am, sir, I'm just trying to sell a book. But in essence, I've sold this movie. What platform is it on? Where can I go watch it? Nowhere. YouTube. You can watch the short clip on YouTube. I think it's like 3 minutes long. But it also let me know that if I decided to, I'm capable of doing a movie script too. Right? So those are the things that you're going to find out and be able to work on once you get your marketing strategy down. My budget, it came in, the cost to do the scene came in below budget, so that was good, right? Um, and again, I gained a new audience from trying something different. So now when I put something out there as a movie producer or director or what have you, screenwriter, um, they'll already know my name because they'll remember this little shortcut I put out a couple years ago. The next thing you want to work on is the place. The third P is place. So we got product promotion. The next P is place. How are these people gonna get this book? Are you gonna have a website? Are you gonna rely solely on Amazon, which is what I'm teaching you how to publish on? Are you gonna rely on Amazon? Are you gonna have a storefront? Are you gonna hand deliver them? You need to know how the people are gonna get the product because you need to put that in your budget as well. The fourth thing you want to work on is the pricing. There are several factors that are going to go into your pricing. With Amazon, you don't necessarily have any upfront costs that I know of. Because again, the last time I published a book was last year. Not last year. Was it last year? Did I do something last year? I don't know. But the last time I did it, you didn't have to have any upfront costs, which is good, right? However, on the back end, you need to see how much they're going to pay you in royalties. As of now, I think the highest is 70-30. It's either 70-30 or 60-40 with Amazon, which is still good because that will cover your shipping and handling. It will also cover your time because you don't have to worry about packaging books, taking them to the post office and dropping them off or what have you. So if you have a busy life, then that would work well for you. If you're going to be doing it yourself, meaning packaging up, taking it to the post office, you need to incorporate the cost of shipping in your price as well. You also need to incorporate your time. So if it takes you, let's say a nice round number, an hour to package a book, which we know it don't take an hour to package a book, but if it takes you an hour to package a book, to take it to the post office and mail it off, how much would you pay yourself an hour to do that? Now, let's not be outrageous. I can't tell you what to charge. You charge what you charge, but let's be reasonable about it. So those are some factors that you're going to need to consider when you are putting your book out there. Product, promotion, place, and price. Now you can also include in your price a snippet cost of the promotion as well. It's up to you how you want to figure your pricing. You can also do your research. What are books selling for on Amazon that are within your same genre? What are books selling for in your local bookstore that are within your same genre? Right? So this is going to take a lot of research because what I would not want to happen is you do all this work on your book and it goes nowhere. You don't sell one copy because you didn't take the time to do the research, to build your audience, to learn what your people wanted. And again, it's trial and error. You're not going to know this firsthand. The person that did this target audience snippet, this is only what she's visualizing. Is she going to hit every female that's 20 to 40 that makes $50,000 a year? Probably not. She'll probably get some people who make $20,000 a year, but that fit everything else and want to buy it. But that's just by happenstance. The people we're trying to reach is in this demographic. Are you going to get people that are outside that demographic? Absolutely. And again, this helps you to understand what this person like, where to find this person, what kind of content you want to create for this person. For instance, you don't want to put out, you don't want to over sexualize anything, um, and have a bunch of men on your post that ain't buying nothing and just looking, right? You want to attract, in her case, you want to attract um women in this age range that make this amount of money a year, that want to go home and drink a glass of wine when they get off work. Now, could you possibly dress in something that's sexy and cozy? Sure, because we get it. We're that's not the focal point. You can be sexy and comfortable with your feet up in your fireplace and your glass of wine. That's possible, but you don't want to over sexualize it to where it's turning into something else. They think we selling something else and not books. Let me review real quick before I open it up for questions. So, we got our marketing, which is the process of selling our product, our books. We got our strategy that basically identifies our target market and tailors products to those customers. We got our advertising, which is everything in one. And we got our 4 P's of marketing, which is our product, how we're going to promote it, where we're going to place it, and how much we're going to sell it for. Again, you can very well market somewhere outside of social media, but why not take advantage of your most available resource while you have it? It's free. We like free. It's available. It just takes a little work, a little understanding, a little tagline, and so you'll be able to attract those particular people. So that's really all I had. Like I said, I just wanted to deep dive into marketing. I don't want you guys, it's not easy and it's not hard either. I'll say that. It's not easy. It just takes a lot of research, um, a lot of time, thinking, brainstorming, right? But once I say this, I said before, you don't know what works until you figure out what works, right? But once you figure out what works, you're going to work it until you can't work it no more. You're going to run it into the ground. And then when that stops bringing in people, you're going to come up with another plan and run that into the ground. All right. So, y'all, so that's all I had for the marketing piece tonight. Any questions before we jump off of here? I told y'all we weren't going to be on here long because it was kind of a recap of last week and just going a little deeper into our marketing segment. Because remember, Charity, that does not have to be your own. It's probably one of the greatest, but remember, word of mouth is always going to be the best. It's always going to be the best. So, if you're active in your local church, if you're active in your community, at work, you know, people you can trust, of course, because we know how them jobs can be. Family members, right? You can, okay, so this is what I would suggest. If you are trying to build a following, because you can do them both simultaneously. What I would do, the scenario that I pointed out earlier, I would work with that, right? And you don't have to have all the product. Get you a candle from Walmart. They got some good candles for $3.95 or $5, right? I'm assuming you got a smartphone, camera phone. Go with the scenario that I gave earlier. and I would tagline it living the soft life or something to that effect, right? Those types of scenarios will bring people to your page. If you do a couple of those, now you're going to have to figure out the best time to post is the best time to post. Again, that's one of those things you don't know until you figure it out. I would do like maybe 3, and it may not even take that many soft girl posts with the same scenario, either eating at fine dining. You can do the candlelit one by the fireplace. If you don't have no fireplace, YouTube got a little they got the little background where they had a fireplace on there. We use what we have. I would use that scenario to bring some attention to your page, and then from there, you can start working them with reading the book, right? You can become who you're trying to attract. I hope that makes sense because I know I said a lot. You can become who you're trying to attract. Was it last year? I took a class. You can do that as well, Jaleesa. About was it last year? I think it was last year I took a class because I was building my social media following as well on Instagram. And that's one of the hardest platforms because everybody over there want to be cute and had their hair done all the time. And that ain't me. I just, but there was one simple, and I don't have Instagram anymore, guys, unfortunately. So, but if I find the video, I'll post it on here. But there was one video that I did. Um, it was a video where I was pouring myself a glass of wine, and my face was not in there. It was just the bottle of wine in the glass, and it was sitting on top of my counter. The background had like my wine rack, and maybe some wine glasses. And I had a caption on there. It was a motivational caption. At the time that I made that post, I think I had 78 followers on Instagram. Because again, I was just starting out. Oh, I had a what was it? I think it was a Luther Vandross song playing in the background. But at the time I had 78 followers, right? And I just put it up. I just threw it up there because it was motivation to myself. But what you will find is sometimes motivation for yourself would be motivation for other people. Within, I would say maybe 2 weeks time, if that long, y'all. Because I don't want to lie. I want to say in like 2 weeks time, that video had 1 million views. 1 million views, maybe like 200 and some thousand likes, couple few thousand comments. And I had grown my following to like 4,000, I think. So from 78 to 4,000 followers within and I didn't even know, because again, I'm not on social media like that. I was just trying to grow my page for something that I was getting into. And my mentor at the time, she sent us a message in our group chat, and she was like, nothing, just sitting here watching Sophia video go up to 1 million views, and now she has over 4,000 followers. And again, she was watching it. I wasn't even paying attention to it because I wasn't into it like that. But what that taught me was the type of content that people get into on Instagram, and you never know what somebody's going to like. Like when people post, they don't just absolutely know it's going to go viral. Now I can pretty much tell now, even on TikTok, which videos is going to get 1,000 views or more because of the content. And it all breaks down to hitting those pain points. Once you learn how to write your captions, once you learn how to tag your videos the right way to get people's attention, you can pretty much tell if it's going to get over a certain amount, but nobody ever knows when a video is absolutely going to go viral. The simple video that I threw, I just threw that video up on Instagram. That video, I did not expect to get over. I think it had maybe close to 2 million views by the time I deleted my Instagram. So that's why I said you really just have to try it. So charity for you, try that strategy that I talked about at the beginning, and you can use your target audience to build your following. I feel like that's the best way to build your following. You'll hear a lot of the larger content creators tell you that followers don't equate to dollars. So you definitely want to attract people who are going to buy. I don't want you following me if you're not going to be engaging with my content. And a lot of times buying, they don't have to buy, but at least engage, sell it. I'm not sell it, share it, comment, right? Help my engagement go up. If you don't like this particular type of content, send it to somebody else who might like it. Those are the type of people that I want on my page. Those are the type of people that I want engaging with me, because they may not buy something from you all the time. They may not have the means, or they may not just be interested, but because they believe in you and what you do, they're going to share it with somebody that they know is going to buy it. So yes, use your book's target audience to build your following. So I kind of want us to continue working on, take the notes that I gave you guys. You're welcome, Charity. Take the notes that I gave you guys that did your homework, and let's work on our target audience. If I told you that your target audience needs some more work, let's do that. Let's do that for our homework for next week, so that we can work on our marketing strategy. Y'all, this takes work. It's going to take work, especially if you're trying to be successful in this arena. Now, if it's something that you are just kind of playing around with, something that you're doing in your spare time, you may not take it as seriously. But if this is something that you're trying to eat off of, you need to take it very seriously. We don't know how long we're gonna have this social media. Y'all see they try to boot us off TikTok earlier. This month, was it last month? This month. So or was it last month? Last month. Dang, these days going by so fast. They try to boot us off TikTok. So we don't know how long we're gonna be able to take advantage of these resources, but use them while you can. Use them to your advantage. Use them to your advantage. There is a I'm gonna find it and put it. I don't know if I'm gonna check and see if she still has it available, because I believe my mentor still had that. Because I don't steal nobody's stuff. Still has that. I think it was like $27, if that. She has a class that, or ebook rather, that teaches you how to grow your following with reels. I think it's called Rich Off Reels. Rich Off Reels. I'll see if it's still available. Sade, what's Sade last name? Can't remember. Okay, but I'll see if I can find that. If so, I'll put it in the email for y'all, and I'll also link it. I'll link it in the email so that y'all can have access to it. But I learned a lot from that class because she gives a lot of information. She is a digital marketing coach. So she teaches how to grow your marketing platforms. Every platform that she has been on, she has grown to $100,000, 100,000 followers, like within a month's time. But again, followers don't always equate money, so you also need to know how to get them to buy into what you're selling. So I'll see if I can find that to kind of help you guys who are starting off with social media, because I did not learn this on my own, I did get me a mentor that helped me learn how to strategize and to create content, because that was one of my, like, I just get on there and talk. Like, sometimes I don't feel like it. But when you're trying to, again, eat off of this, then that's something that you're going to have to really, really dive into for real. And again, once you get a strategy that works for you, you'll see that it becomes easier. You'll kind of know what buttons to push that are gonna make people buy your stuff. There's a video on my TikTok now. I think it may be at like 100,000 views. I pissed a bunch of women off because I told them stop messing with these women husbands. I kind of knew that video was gonna go viral. I didn't think it was gonna go as viral as it did though, but I knew that it was gonna at least get 10,000 views. And it did. Comments, people, they was pissed off at me. But I meant what I said though. But because I was coming from a spiritual standpoint, I think it's pinned at the top of my page. I'm not sure. But yeah, it pissed them off. And I kind of knew it would because of the caption that I put in it and because of the content that I put in it. And at the end of the video, I tell married women to contact me if they want to know how to pray for their marriage. Inbox was booming. So again, that's a strategy. I knew them women was going to contact me because I know that that's like an epidemic right now. I know we have a lot of married people that's messing around. So that was a given. So those are things that I'm talking, like when you research and learn culture, when you know what's going on around the world, when you know the people that you're trying to meet, trying to attract, when you know the message that you're trying to put out is going to work for you. In that particular situation, I knew that both married women and side chicks was going to be the ones reaching out to me. They were going to be the ones sharing and commenting on the videos. I had a few husbands, they weren't my target, but I had a few husbands that commented and that inboxed me as well. But most of the people on that post were married women and side chicks. And that was my point. That was who I knew, who I wanted to contact me. So yeah, I hope that helped y'all. Any other questions before we say good night? No. Anything else? Okay, well, if all hearts and minds are clear, we will revamp our target audience. If you got the go ahead on your target audience, go ahead and start working on your marketing plan using the 4 P's that I gave you. Understanding the marketing definitions. If you don't, go back and watch. This video is not as long as our other ones. Go back and watch so that you can get those definitions down, and then come up with a marketing strategy. It don't have to be perfect. Come up with a marketing strategy that you think would work in trying to reach your target audience. I am going, matter of fact, let me write it down so I won't forget. Okay, so I will try to find that ebook and see if she still has it available, and I will email you guys and link it in the email as well. All right, I will see you guys next week or in the next email. Have a good, happy Valentine's Day to y'all too. Happy Valentine's Day. If you're going somewhere with your boo, be safe, enjoy, all that good stuff. Talk to y'all later.